Hi, everybody. Welcome back from spring break. I feel like it's been so long since the last time I made a video, so I just wanted to stop in, say hi, kind of catch everybody up on what's been going on and, what we can expect here for our fourth and final marking period. I was talking to the students today and I said, we have like 2 months, maybe a little bit less than 2 months left together, and then they're fourth graders. So I'm sure you guys are freaking out too, being their family members, but time has really flown by and I'm really excited for what's to come in the future. So the biggest thing that now that we're back from spring break that we're starting, moving on to a new math unit. And I wanted just to talk about it a little bit, and I'm going to be, making probably some videos as we go along as well. But now we're in a fractions unit. So we just are introduced to fractions. I know in second grade they've done some basic fraction work, so a lot of the students were familiar with it, but we're just going to be really moving on, doing a lot more things with it. We're going to be comparing fractions. We're going to be putting fractions on a number line. So I said, to the students today, if you think that you're struggling or need some extra help, tell me now, because this is the time to really get down fractions and knowing how to spot a fraction, how to talk about a fraction, what are equal parts, and then it's just going to get easier. If you can master it now, it's really going to be easy for you as we kind of move on to a little more of the more difficult concepts. So today, really, we just talked about making equal parts, and I said fractions and equal sections, they're like best friends. If you don't have equal parts, then you don't have a fraction. You can't. They have to be equal. And we also introduced some fraction vocabulary. So example, if I have a fraction like this would be 1/2. My top number is my numerator and my bottom number is my denominator. So this number represents how many parts are kind of being like handed out. So this, all right, so, or if you see kind of like a picture and maybe one part is shaded, we've been doing some park practice, so a lot of students said, this is how much is shaded, so which isn't incorrect, but it's just how many kind of parts are being passed out. And then our denominator is how many pieces there are in all. So we've been using examples of having like a brownie, and we just had little rectangle fake brownies. They weren't real brownies. I wish they were, and I think the kids did too, but they weren't. So I would say, if there's two people that want to share this brownie, how do we share this equally? And the students were telling me you can cut it in half, you can fold it, you can cut it this way, you can slice it that way. So that's how we started talking about fractions, is that we're sharing something equally among friends. And again, if I'm sharing a brownie with another person, I get one of the two pieces and so do they. So that's why we would have 1/2. And then I asked the students to, okay, now we have a new brownie and we have to share it among 3 people. What would that look like? And, I said you have to make sure that you have equal pieces. So instead of having 2 pieces now, we have 3 pieces. We have to share it equally among 3 friends. So that 1/2 is now going to turn into 1/3, because now there's 3 of us. Each of us is still only getting 1 piece, but there's 3 total pieces. So we each would get 1/3. So again, we're really just talking about making sure that we know this is our numerator, this is how many pieces, if we share it equally, each person gets, and this is my total number of pieces, my numerator and my denominator. And again, if I don't have equal parts, it's not a fraction. Equal parts, fractions, they're best friends. They don't get separated. Equal parts and fractions are best friends, okay? Now, the only kind of different thing is that for tonight's homework, it's not about fractions, since we just really introduced the concept. It's actually on multi-step problems. So I just wanted to talk about that. In the instructions, it says, write an equation for each problem and solve the problem and show me how you solve each one. And I told the students you're going to have 2 different equations. It's a 2-step problem. So if I only see one equation, you're probably not solving it the right way. It's definitely a 2-step problem, okay? Not 2-step, multi-step. So there might even be more than one problem. For example, I'm looking at number 1 on page 345. You might actually need to do 3 steps. So it might not be 2 steps, it might be 3 steps. So for example, you might have to solve one equation, you might have to solve another equation, and then maybe combine them, okay? So that would actually be 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps. So just make sure you're reading your word problem correctly and slowly so that you don't miss anything. Just do one thing at a time, since it is multi-step. You just want to make sure that you're doing it the right way. And if we have any problems, I can definitely always go over it with you in the morning. So tonight for homework is page 345 and 346. It's only 4 problems, so it's not that much, but it is multi-step. So take your time, read it carefully, to see what it's asking you to do. Okay, guys, you guys are actually doing a really good job on word problems. I know we haven't worked too much on multi-step, but when I throw it in, you guys do a really great job. So just slow down, read the instructions, read the word problem, and you do a great job. The only other thing I really wanted to talk to everyone about today is the National Poem in Your Pocket Day, which coincidentally falls on Take Your Child to Work Day. So I think what's going on this year, I know a lot of students already sent in their permission slips that they're not going to be here on Thursday for Take Your Child to Work Day. That's okay. We're going to celebrate Poem in Your Pocket Day here at school on Thursday, and we already made our pockets here at school. Actually, let me grab one. And actually, I think the student already has one in here. So this is the Poem in Your Pocket little thing. So we already made these here at school. And again, we're going to celebrate it here at Fleetwood on Thursday, but a bright pink piece of paper came home from Mrs. Andreo, I guess the Thursday before break, kind of explaining how to celebrate National Poem in Your Pocket Day. And it's a little bit different this year is because there's a lot of different companies and organizations in Mount Laurel that if this weekend, the 29th and the 30th, if you want to go around and have your child read the poems that either they come up with or research, you can go around and you get to share your poems. So we're not doing this in school. This is the only part we did in school, but this is the part where students and families can come together at home. Students can either find if they have a favorite poem, like out of a book or online, you can find a favorite poem and you can write it down. And it kind of has to be small because it kind of has to be, folded up and put into this little pocket. You can write it down. Like I know I have a favorite poem that I put in my pocket because it's just one of my favorites. So you can either take one off out of a book, or you can look one up online, or students can create their own poems. There's so many different poems out there as well. We learned about acrostic poems today. We learned about haikus. We learned about free verse, shape poems. So again, if students don't want to look one up or don't want to take one out of a book, you can create your own. So if you want to do that and you want to send it in and we can put it in our pockets, we're going to wear these on Thursday and then I'm going to send them home with the students on Friday. So even if you're not in school on Thursday, I'll still send these home Friday. So just make sure you come to school Friday so you can get your poem in your pocket. What else I can do is on Class Dojo, I'm going to share a website with you. It's called Padlet that Mrs. Andreo created. And there's all these different links that you can go to if you want some ideas on how to create your own poem or write your own poem, or there's even links to like silly poems. There's links to Shel Silverstein poems, which is one of my favorites, just to kind of get you started. Again, if maybe a student or you guys don't know where to go to look for poems, or if you just don't want to write one on your own. So if you want to do that, just make sure you send that in with your student by Thursday if you're going to be here. Obviously, if you're not going to be here, try to send it in by Wednesday. We can put all of our poems in our pockets and we can go from there. It'll be really cool if you're here at school on Thursday, we'll share them. Everybody's going to be walking around, with their poem in their pocket hanging around their neck. So it's kind of neat. Like teachers will stop and kids will stop each other and say, will you read your poem to me? And they can just take out their poem and read it. It's pretty cool. It's a really nice day. Again, it's just a shame it kind of ends or falls on Take Your Child to Work Day, but that's why they're doing this kind of weekend thing where if your child still wants to be able to go out and share their poem, there's all these businesses and organizations that will allow the students to come in and share their poems. So it's pretty cool. So I will send that link to you right after I post this, and I'll just say, see my YouTube channel for explanation. If you have any questions about the homework or anything else that we're doing here in school, just please let me know. You can message me at any time. Again, I hope everybody had a great Easter if they celebrated, a great Passover if they celebrated. Back to reality, we are in the home stretch. It's the 4th marking period. I'm really excited for what this marking period has to come for our 3rd grade students. So I will see everybody tomorrow. Bye, guys.